My pranams to all Atmajyotis. I welcome all of you for today's session of Ashtavakra Gita. We had a wonderful series of discussions between King Janaka, who is the disciple, and Ashtavakra, who is the sage, enlightened sage. Ashtavakra gave the wisdom of Atma Dnana to Janaka Raja. Janaka Raja got enlightened. Then Janaka Raja expresses his enlightenment, the joy of enlightenment. Then Ashtavakra asks questions to Janaka Raja, teases Janaka Raja to find out whether he is really enlightened. And Janaka Raja replies. So now the discussion is shifting. Janaka Raja, Ashtavakra and Janaka Raja are summarizing the various stages of enlightenment for the benefit of readers, for the benefit of people who are listening to Ashtavakra Gita. So today we are taking up the chapter 5. In this chapter, the discussion is about laya. Laya means dissolution of the mind. We have heard manonasha and manolaya. Here, how to dissolve the mind through the dissolution of the mind is done in 4 stages. What is the dissolution of the mind? Dissolution of the mind is we see the world and we experience the world through body-mind complex. The body-mind complex helps us to perceive the world. How to dissolve this body-mind complex, the perceiver and perceived world, so that self alone shines, or kaivalya. Self alone shines means the meaning of that is called kaivalya. Kaivalya is also called liberation or mukti. Ashtavakra talks to Janaka Raja, tells Janaka Raja the stages of attaining kaivalya. Now Janaka Raja has already attained. Okay, this discussion is happening for the benefit of the seekers of truth. Step by step, how kaivalya can be attained. So we have heard the word called kailasa. Right? Kailasa, kaivalya, all they come from the word kai. The word kai is common to both. Kai, valya, kai, lasa. Kailasa means being alone and joyful. Lasa means the expression of joy, being alone and joyful. Kaivalya means being alone. What is this being alone? We know the loneliness. When our friends and relatives are not there, we feel lonely. Loneliness causes suffering. Loneliness causes boredom to us. The loneliness is with reference to other people. When other people are not there, I am lonely. So my happiness depends on the other people. So my friend is not there, I am lonely. My relative is not there, I am lonely. So what does it mean? Your happiness depends on somebody else. So that means you are slave to your happiness is because of someone else. That means you are slave to the circumstance. How a friend or relative can give you happiness? Do you have to depend on your friend or relative for happiness? Friend, relative, children, husband, wife, whatever is that. When the external circumstances bring happiness to you, then you are a slave to the circumstance. That is called bondage or banda. So what happens when friends and relatives are there? Why do you feel joyful? In the presence of the other, you are engaged in conversation, discussion, or interactions. You are lost in that conversation and interactions. You forget yourself. And when you forget yourself, there is a temporary joy. Forgetfulness of yourself. So what you forget? You forget your worries, your stresses, your pains, momentarily where you interact with your friends and relatives. So the interaction becomes like a drug, anesthesia, to help you to forget joy, sorrows of your life, pains of your life. Is it very different from drinking alcohol? Why people drink alcohol? When they drink alcohol, their consciousness is lowered. Then they're able to forget their pain and sorrow for some time. So absence of pain and sorrow, sometimes, is it a positive joy? So you suffer from loneliness when others are not there, because now you don't have time to interact, nothing to interact. Then all your past, the ghosts of the past, the pains of the past, the worries of the future come and haunt you. So we depend on the other people, friends and relatives for being happy or peaceful. So this is actually what we call a relationship. In reality, relationships for us is a mask for covering up our pains and sufferings and fears. In the absence of this relationship, they get exposed. We are not able to tolerate that. That's why we seek company. This is not a real positive, joyful situation. This is absence of sorrow. This temporary absence of sorrow. This is not a permanent solution. So Vedanta, Yoga recommend Kaivalya. Kaivalya means being alone. What is this aloneness? When there is no other. When there is no other, it's called Kaivalya. So in the Kaivalya, you experience bliss. That bliss is called Kailasa, the joy. So that's why Shiva is said to reside in Kailasa. Shiva, the abode of Shiva is Kailasa. We start thinking of Kailasa as a mountain. The Kailasa is the innermost reality where Shiva or the self alone is there. There is no other. That Kailasa you can experience when you are alone. The aloneness does not depends on the presence or absence of anybody. When you enjoy your aloneness, you are on top of Kailasa. Kailasa is the innermost reality. It's not a place. So let us look at the word called aloneness in English. The aloneness, the word, comes from all in one. When all is in one, that's called alone. When all is that one self, it's called alone. You see a variety, so much of variety in the world, so many people, so many animals, relatives, friends, the nature, the variety. All that variety is merged into that one. All in one, it's called alone. So you see all in one, you experience all in one, that's called aloneness. So that's not all. You should see one in all. In that variety, all that variety what you see, you should see that one in that all. So then one alone is there, whether all in one is there or one in all is there, that is called Kaivalya. All in one is called realization of Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. All that is there is in me, in the self. The entire world, what we experience objective world, is in the self, all in one. And then there is one in all. When I experience the world, when I see the world, I see the self in all. This is called Sarvam Khaluida Brahma. The first one is called Aham Brahmasmi. Second one is called Sarvam Khaluida Brahma. When you experience in totality, all in one and one in all, that is called Kaivalya or liberation or Mukti. Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Khaluida Brahma. So this total realization is called Sahaja Samadhi or natural state. This is called Jivan Mukti. So what is stopping you from experiencing that? There is a sense of me, ego, which separates you from the world. The ego identifies with the body. The moment you identify with the body, you are separate from the world. There is a sense of separation, me and the world, because of the ego. The ego has to be dissolved. This dissolution of the ego is called laya. How to dissolve the ego? Ashtavakra is telling Janakaraja for the sake of listeners. Do you experience that laya? We experience that laya in deep sleep. Deep sleep, there's no mind. The mind is, the ego is dissolved. There's no ego. Deep sleep is blissful state. But we get deep sleep unconsciously. When we are tired, we enter into deep sleep. The moment we wake up, the world appears, the ego appears, the feeling of separation appears, and the stress develops. There is other in the waking state because of the ego. If the ego is dissolved, there's no other. A child has underdeveloped ego or no ego, practically no ego. The ego is in the seed form. The child does not separate itself from the other. So the child is blissful. And also you see, the children are very energetic. So much of energy flows through them. Their ego is not developed. They don't see much of a separation between the self and the world. As we grow, we develop ego. A ego is a product of memory. Ego is a product of identity. Ego can survive only based on the memory and future projection, the past and future. The foundation of ego is the past. I did this, I was there, I was here, I am so and so. All this is past. So what will happen to me in future? This is the ego. Ego feeds on the past and future. A child has no past and child does not know future. The child lives in the present. That's why there's a bliss, there's a joy. That's why a child is energetic. The adult has a history of past, what all things he did, what all suffering he has gone through, what pains he has gone through, and has a vision of future. Oh, what will happen to me? What should I do? The adult continuously lives in the past or future. This is an ego, strong developed ego. Can we drop this ego, the past and future, and live in the totality of present moment? Then you are in Kaivalya. In the state of Kaivalya, there is only one in all. Sarvam Khaluida Brahma. The consciousness alone is all this totality. All in one. This everything is in the self. And there's no conceptualization of this. Simply you live in the present joyfully, and then you are in Kailasa. You are the Shiva, and Shiva lives in Kailasa with his eyes open or eyes closed. There are 4 stages. Ashtavakra explains the 4 stages of dissolution of ego. The first one is to recognize there is nothing for me to renounce. There is nothing for me to renounce. I am already unattached. Asangoham, asangoham. I am already unattached. So what is there for me to renounce? So the many of the scriptures or spiritual teachings, you say you have to renounce. Renounce what? So renounce the world. Oh, he renounced the world and became a monk. How can he renounce the world? The renunciation, we think, is dropping the external conditions, the family, the job, or the business. The renunciation is the renouncing or dropping of the internal conditioning. Internal conditionings that something belongs to me, something is mine. So the body is mine, the mind is mine, intellect is mine. This conditioning is to be renounced. So with this conditioning, what we start thinking, I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the memory. So all this body, mind, and intellect is superimposed on the I am, the self. How do you renounce this? How do you drop this conditioning? By understanding that you don't have anything to renounce. They don't belong to you. This we are taught beautifully in the process of puja or yajna. In yajna, we offer something to the fire, the ghee we offer. Then we offer rice. When you're offering, we speak, we say, idam na dattam na mamaha, idam dattam na mamaha. What does not belong, I am offering. We have to offer what doesn't belong. So renounce what doesn't belong to you. How can you renounce what doesn't belong to you? By understanding nothing belongs to you. Then there's nothing to renounce. That is when you recognize asangoham. I am unattached by nature. The self has nothing sticks, nothing holds on to self. Asangoham, asangoham. I am unattached all the time. There is nothing for me to renounce. So, Ashtavakra says, the body, mind, intellect, the body, mind, intellect complex is called Sangatana. Sangatana means association. It's a group. The body, mind, intellect is the Sangha, Sangatana. It's a group, association. So you associate the body and say, I am the body. While you are not the body, you are the infinite self. You are the pure awareness. Associating with the body, you say, I am body. Recognize that you are not the body. The body appears in you and disappears. The body does not stick to you. Body is just a momentary appearance in the waking state. Body appears in the waking state and you experience the world through the body. Then you start thinking that I am the body. But that is only waking state. The moment waking state is over, you drop the body. Then you go to dream state. Then you take up a new body. So whatever experience, whatever you happened in the waking state does not stick to you. Stick to the Atma. If you stick to Atma, then you cannot take a new body. Then dream state, you take a new body, dream body. And deep sleep state, you drop the body. Then how can you be the body? The body does not stick to you. That's why recognize asangoham, I am unattached. Dissolve the concept that I am the body. Dissolve the concept that I am the body. by looking at your waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. You cannot be the body. Then this infinite world is there and I have a limited body. The world appears in the consciousness and disappears. In deep sleep state, there is no word, no body, no mind, no world. You are in a blissful state, kaivalya. Suddenly, the I thought appears, the body appears, and the world appears. Now you think that the world is outside of you. The world appeared in your consciousness. And the world disappears into your consciousness when you go to dream state and deep sleep state. So the world is appearing and disappearing in consciousness, including your body, appearing and disappearing in consciousness. So how you are related to the world? The consciousness is like water. The water appears as ocean, wave, foam, and bubble. The wave, foam, and bubble are not different from consciousness, water. Similarly, the world of variety, what you see, is not different from the self. The sun, the moon, the earth, plants, living beings, and non-living beings are nothing but the consciousness appearing in the variety. See that one self in all. The foam is water, the wave is water, the bubble is water, ocean is water. See that sun is existence, the moon is existence, the plant is existence. Existence appears as sun, existence appears as moon, existence appears as plant. Existence appears as living beings. That existence alone is the reality. See that one in all, one existence in all. You are that existence. So that's where there is aloneness or kaivalya in the waking state also. Then, what about the variety? I am alone, but there is a variety in the universe. The variety in the universe is unreal. It is like a snake in the rope. The variety is, you see the variety in the form of forms, variety of forms in the universe. The forms are because of sense organs. And you give the name to the form because of mind. Name and form is nothing but a variety. Name and form is called Maya. In reality, there's existence alone. Existence is consciousness. Existence is called Sat and Chit. And your name is infinite, Ananda. On that, name and form are superimposed. There's no reality. The reality, there's variety. It's like a superimposition of rope, a snake on a rope. Going back to the analogy of water, wave, and ocean, is wave. What is called wave? Is it not water only? Because of the form, you have given a name. Can you draw a line and say, this is water and this is wave? You cannot separate out. The wave is water. The foam is water. So, the first Laya technique, the technique of Laya, Ashtavakra gives to Janakaraja, is renounce the idea that I am the body. Second Laya technique gives is understand that the entire manifestation is like water and wave. The self alone is appearing as everything. The third Laya technique he gives. Remember, the variety in the universe is nothing but a superimposition like a rope and snake. There's no snake, there's rope only. The mind and sense organs are superimposing. This you can understand better with the dream analogy. In the dream, there was a dream forest, dream tiger, dream elephant, dream river, and you were running. There was none of these. The mental projection was there. Same thing is true in the waking state also. The objects are projected in the self. So third technique is, remember, the world is like a snake superimposed on rope. The fourth technique of Laya is joys and sorrows, happiness and unhappiness. They are duality of life. When there is a perception, there is a duality. Hope and disappointment, birth and death. Be equanimous in all of this with the understanding that I am the Sakshi, I am the witness. There is happiness in the mind. Sometimes there is a sorrow in the mind. I am the witness of happiness and sorrow. There is a pain, and there is a pain and suffering. There is no pain and suffering. There is a pleasure. So as the witness of the mind, I am not affected by anything. So as a witness, you live in the world. This is the fourth technique of Laya. Be the witness in the world. You should be like a lotus in a pond, lake. Lotus is born in mud, grows in water, blooms in sunlight. Bloom with the wisdom of self-knowledge. I am the Sakshi, I am the witness. With that, accept life with equanimity. The Sakshi or the witness is never affected by any circumstance in life. You are the witness. You are the Sakshi. Live life like that. So these are the four techniques of Laya, which is given by Ashtavakra to Janakaraja. The first technique is renounce the idea that I am the body. Second technique is water, wave, and ocean. The entire world is nothing but an appearance of consciousness. The third technique is the variety in the universe is nothing but a superimposition, like a rope, a snake on the rope, like objects of dream in the sleep. The fourth thing is live with a clear understanding and the Sakshi. These are the four techniques of Laya given to Janakaraja. Now, next chapter, Janakaraja counters why these techniques are required. Nothing is required. Next chapter, Janakaraja says these techniques are not required at all. Self is already liberated. That's how the self is already liberated. Janakaraja says, why do you need a technique? He says. So let us understand the discussion, counter given by Janakaraja in the next chapter, next class. With that, we'll conclude today's session. Any questions? Anybody has a question? So there is a question here. Body does not stick to you. I stick to the body because it's coming from me, the consciousness, and the body is made up of me. And the reflection of consciousness of the body mind cannot be separated from the reflection. See, this reflection cannot be separated physically. You cannot separate a reflection from the mirror separately. But that's about mirror. Mirror is an object. The reflection of consciousness from the body can be separated through jnana, logically. The logical separation leads to freedom. And when the logical separation happens, eventually the physical separation happens. A clarity of logical separation is very important, and that clarity is called viveka. And that clarity develops vairagya. Viveka and vairagya is very important. Logical separation is the key, and logical separation dissolves the mental vasanas. Once the mental vasanas dissolve, the body drops. Then there's no more mirror. That's when prarabdha karma drops. So anybody else has any question?